Ohayo?
So if you guys didn't see my tweet recently that I posted on Twitter, which by the way, go check out my Twitter and follow it in the description below. It's where I'm going to be posting my latest updates and what I think about certain things that I'm probably not going to talk about in videos sometimes. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Yeah, if you haven't seen my recent tweet, I've said that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is freaking great. And I totally stand by it. I have grown into a massive fan over this thing. And I bought a bunch of JoJo's posters, but it turned out that I kind of just bought the wrong ones. They're like this small. They were gonna be like big canvas things, and I kind of just messed up the order and like didn't really get the whole thing. I don't usually buy stuff online on Amazon or anything like that. But if you guys don't know, yeah, I'm a JoJo fan. I freaking love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I've caught up to part 4 now, and everything before that, freaking amazing. And part 4 is probably gonna be even more amazing. We'll see. I don't know. I've only got up to like episode 1, then I kind of like turned my attention to the other anime in my list that I kind of just want to finish and everything. Like I've been focusing a lot on Attack on Titan, JoJo's Kaisen, that I kind of just want to get over with, and so I can make reviews of and everything. But right now, we're going to talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Currently, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 3 and part 2 are definitely my favorite ones, and I think part 1 is a little slow. It's a little slow and a bit boring. There's not a lot going on. It's mainly okay. I'm gonna talk a bit about details about it. And if you don't want to know anything about it, you kind of just want to check out JoJo's for yourself, go check it out. It's freaking good. It's a little hard to get into at first, but definitely if you sit through season 1 or part 1, and you just kind of just watch up to like part 2 and then part 3. Part 2, definitely great. It's what really got me catching onto it, and part 3 was freaking amazing. I loved it so much. Now that I assume that you checked it out and you know what I'm talking about, let's get into the bit of the spoilers, the details most likely. So part 1 is mostly about Dio and Jonathan Joestar, and pretty much the beginning of this whole branch of the Joestar family. It focuses on Dio's and Jonathan Joestar's relationship, and that how they've always hated each other because Dio is just straight up evil. He's just an evil person. He freaking killed Jonathan's dog in a freaking furnace. That's really sad, and makes me hate Dio even more because like how could you do that, man? How could you burn a dog alive in a furnace? That's so horrible. Jesus, I would never think of doing that. Short end of it, Dio is freaking evil, and he's just evil. So when Dio kind of gets hold of this mask, this stone mask, he attains vampiric powers and is even more evil than he was before. He causes the death of Jonathan's dad, and then Jonathan Joestar starts to go on a journey and then meets up with other characters like Zeppelin and what the hell was the name again? What was the name? Damn it. What was it? How did I forget the name? Speedwagon. Okay, so he meets up with Speedwagon and Zeppelin, 2 characters, and they kind of like teach him along with how to use these powers called Hammond powers, which they barely really even explain it in this one. They're basically just like breathe in, control your breathing, and then you can turn things that are metal or something like that, and you can use it to climb or just like use this Hammond energy and all that stuff. It's weird, but it's all about JoJo's. It's bizarre and it's great. So Jonathan at the end of part 1 defeats Dio. Jonathan goes with his wife, Jonathan Joestar and his now wife or girlfriend. They go sail on a ship, and then all of a sudden, there's a coffin and everything, and they're carrying it along, and they carry it onto the ship. And guess what holds it? It's Dio's body. Dio turns out to not really be dead, except it's just his head. It's just his head in there. So all goes to hell as expected, and the ship kind of goes down. Dio freaking cuts off Jonathan's head and takes it as his body, which is hella awesome. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like so freaking weird, but I love that stuff. So he does that. He takes over his body, and then the wife gets away, which I didn't mention that his wife had a baby. And that baby would grow into something that would be able to produce the amazing next Joseph Joestar, which is then part 2. Make sure to get in the link in the description below to click that for the Discord server. It's called Our Discord. Join our Discord right now, or I'll take your pet. And not do anything to it, because I'm not a pet killer. I'm not that kind of person. But I'll threaten you with every threat that I can make with this amazing katana that I got. Alright, you don't want to get stabbed by this. This is called the Bones of Vengeance. I forgot what name I gave it, but it's very powerful. So click that link in the description below, or bad things are going to happen. You'll be cursed. Alright? You don't want no demons to come after you, right? I've watched Bleached. I've watched many episodes of it after the Eisen arc, and I kind of stopped there because it's a little lackluster at the moment. But just do it, or Katana Boy Kun here is going to destroy you, and I'm not afraid of doing anything bad. Click the link in the description below, and yeah, let's get back into the video. And unlike part 1, part 2 definitely really improves on what they talk about Hammond, how they explain it, and the powers and what kind of things you can do with it. And overall, it's just a way better part than part 1. They improved on a lot of things. But part 3, Stardust Crusaders, is even better, and they kind of go on this journey in which brings back in Dio, who comes back and has a certain power called a stand, in which this whole part actually introduced just everybody's new power, a stand, which is basically just this outer spirit that you can pretty much make come out and pretty much just fights. It's pretty sick. They introduce these new stands. They're really cool, and they kind of forget about Hammond, I guess, which is alright, I guess. I don't know. The stands are even cooler. They do bring up Hammond again for one little part, but overall this whole part is pretty much about the Stardust Crusaders, known as Jojo Kujo, Joseph Joestar, Polnareff, Kakuin, etc. They all join each other in a journey to defeat the evil Dio, and that's pretty much the last part for Dio. And it's the recent part that I've finished off, and I gotta say, I freaking love this part. This part was even better. Part 3 does have 2 parts of it though. So there's part 3, part 1, and part 3, part 2. And both of them I think are really great. My favorite character in part 3 though is definitely Polnareff though, because he had so much character expandability and so much building on him too. There's a lot of focusing on his character, and I really liked him. I really liked his character. It was an enjoyable one. Yeah, overall, part 1 didn't really like. Kind of boring, but that's part 1. And then part 2, I freaking loved. Even the OP. Part 3, loved even more. Freaking amazing. And now I'm on to part 2. Part 4. And now I'm on to part 4. And I cannot wait to see what happens in part 4 after I finish focusing on some of the other animes I'm kind of watching right now. Alright, so yeah, this is my little video of a catch up on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I gotta say, it's freaking, I love it. I'm a big fan of it now. This is my little catch-up video on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. After I finish part 4, I'll definitely do a review on it. But this is a little catch-up on part 1, part 2, part 3. My little reviews on that. Check out the Discord in the description below. It's there. Join the community that we can build together. Also, check out my Twitter. It's also in the description below, where I keep up updates and everything. Hope you enjoyed. Ta-ta gelatis, subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike it. Alright, so yeah, this is it. Hope you enjoyed. Ta-ta gelatis, and I'll see you in the next video.